Back here for another season, and excited to have a lot of our guys ready to go. We've had a very spirited preseason so far, and I know our guys are just anxious to get back out there on the floor and play and play against somebody else. You know, it's one thing to compete and you're going up against yourself, but you also want to have that barometer of where you're at, from an offensive, defensive standpoint, and now we're very close to having that opportunity, getting ready to play some other teams. So our guys are together. We have great chemistry with our group. They love playing with each other, and I know they're just as excited as I am to get out on the floor together and to see what we can do this year. We have a great schedule ahead, very competitive, really good teams. NCAA tournament teams we're playing in the non-conference schedule. And that'll be another, test of where we are, how competitive we are, and it'll also test our toughness, whether it's at home or on the road. So again, looking forward to this upcoming season, and glad to be here with Tijan and getting everything ready to go. Yeah, I think one of the things that we've done with our roster is add, pretty good athletes. We have depth at each spot. So that gives us an opportunity to, when we're playing in games, to, continue to play hard, but also sustain it, hopefully, as we go throughout the game. And but the versatility is something that I wanted as well. If on the defensive end, if we're switching 1 through 4, having the size and the toughness to be able to do that. On the offensive end, we want to try to get guys that can make plays. We have multiple ball handlers on our roster now, so hopefully we can make more plays off the dribble and create for others. And that was something that was intentionally done to try to create more offense for us. But I do like our roster. I think we have a deeper roster than we've had since I've been here, and that'll hopefully pay dividends as we go throughout the season. Yeah, I mean, my first 2 years, I'll give credit to the guys that I was able to coach in my first 2 years. That felt like my team too, and because those guys, I thought they played extremely hard for me. Even last year, our guys played extremely hard, and so anyone that I'm coaching, if they're a part of our program, they're our guys. And now that some of those guys have graduated and/or moved on, this is a new team, and a new team with really good guys. I think a great complement of different things that each and every one of our guys can do out there on the floor. And now it's just a new regime, a new caliber of player out there on the floor that, like I said, hopefully it pays dividends in the win column for us. I think those guys with Tijan and Harrison and guys like that have seen the Division I level, but also the high level, they understand what's at stake. They understand the competitiveness that you have to have in order to win. It would be different if they haven't seen the game before, if they haven't stepped out onto the floor. It would be much different. But because they've been out there, it's easy for me now to not have to explain a lot of things, and they can get things done right away. And they can make the plays that they naturally see instead of me always having to coach what to do. I always say, practice is where you really coach and the players learn, and then in games is where the instincts need to take form and take shape when you're playing. So hopefully, because they've been out on the floor, they've had and been in high-level games, that the instincts take over, and all I have to do is put them in the right position to be successful. First and foremost, I want our group to be a family and to have great chemistry. And I think once you establish that, once you're able to have guys that really, truly care about each other out on the floor, then you can go out on the floor and compete. And then once you're on the floor, I want our guys to display the toughness that I want, that I thought that I played with, and that I want to coach. And I think that we have a group that's tough, that wants to compete, that care about each other, that care about winning, and they understand, what comes before winning as well when we're up on the floor in the practice. So I'm excited about our guys because they do care about those little intangible things that lead to winning. And a lot of those intangible things is toughness. Well, on the offensive end, Harrison is extremely versatile offensively. He can step out and shoot the three. He can handle like a guard. He can also go into the post and post up, and so that's one of the things, or several of the things on the offensive end that he can bring to the table for us. On the defensive side, he has length. He has an ability to switch off because he has pretty good feet. For him, and the thing that we're going to just ask for him is just the consistency. To doing it play after play, day after day. And, that's going to be the thing that we ask of him. But he has a tremendous amount of versatility for us on the offensive end. And we can do a number of different things and put him in different spots out there on the floor and take advantage of him. This will be the first time we truly have, a big like him that you can do multiple things. Now, Vance had certain skill set. He can step out and shoot some threes. But not put it on the floor as well as Harrison can, and with the ability to pass and make plays. So, but at the same time, I don't want to put too much pressure on Harrison. He's a really good player for us. I just want him to play, be comfortable back out there on the floor. He sat out a year, and develop that chemistry on floor in games against the competition that we're going to play. Well, I think in our practices, if you've been up there, you've seen Tijon and Darius. They've competed against each other. They played on opposite sides. What we've also done is played them together, which I think that you can absolutely do. Tijon is as gifted from the standpoint of getting others involved and making plays for himself if he needs to. Darius is probably as good as getting his own shot. So I think the complement of those two guys together, of Darius and Tijon, can really be a benefit for us, in the games that we're playing. And you see a lot in college basketball. A lot of your really good teams have multiple playmakers and multiple guards that can get things done on the offensive end. And then hopefully we can create some havoc on the defensive end by having those two guys out there on the floor together. So we'll experiment with that. It's not something that I'll say, I can't tell you how much they'll be playing together, but I know it'll be a lot because, when you have multiple playmaking guards, guys that can create not only for themselves but also for others, I think it's a great situation for our team. Plus, I think both of them can give their form of leadership and competitiveness that you always want in the game.
Definitely. Last year, a lot. I competed against them. Had to sit out. Played. Recruiting, but I think we'll have a good job. We'll play together. Like Coach said, we play together in practice. We're competing. We don't like to lose, so we might get after it in practice. Tussle around, argue, but at the end of the day, it's all love. And I feel like, just like he said, we complement each other, and we'll be able to do great things out there. And just looking forward to doing that. Oh man, I dream about it every night. Every night. It's exciting. This is the longest I've sat out in my whole basketball career. So it was good to take a step back. I was able to see the game from different perspectives. On the court, it's different from seeing the game when you're watching it. So I was able to see it from a coach's standpoint, able to learn our system, able to pick up on things that I necessarily wouldn't be able to see if I was on the court. And so now I'll be able to translate those in the game and just try to use it to the best of my ability.
What about doing it in your hometown, too?
Oh, yeah.
Great, isn't it?
Definitely. Opportunity to come back home is probably the best thing that's happened. I wasn't necessarily looking to come back home, but this is the best situation for me. When I was choosing a school, it was about finding a family, finding an organization where we can build to succeed. And I feel like that's what Coach Baldwin and the coaching staff has built here, and I feel like we're going to head in the right direction.
He still has to go against me one-on-one, so so he gets a taste of that.
Man. No, but I think it's good. I started in Big Ten, able in big games. It can definitely translate, but it's still Division I basketball. We're still playing basketball. It's still the same game, so I just got to go out there and perform. I mean, nothing's changed. I mean, it's the same thing.
Do you get excited?
It's literally marked on my calendar at home. I can't wait. But we got a bunch of games that are going to be good. All of them are going to be competitive, but especially those Wisconsin, Kansas. We're going to take those very, very serious. But we got to do that for every game. So
Well, I think it's tricky with scheduling because there's so many different dynamics with it. With home, trying to find the right balance of home games. Obviously, if we need to return games, that's going to play into it. The things that are going on when we get Wisconsin or Kansas on the schedule, a lot of that depends on their league. The Big Ten, they either are playing the Gavitt games or the ACC Big Ten Challenge, so that becomes an issue for them in trying to get them on the schedule. But with our schedule, we want it to be competitive while we give ourselves an opportunity to win and play competitive basketball. The other side of that, when we're talking about scheduling someone like Wisconsin, it's always great to play, in state. You have those type of rivalries or games that mean something to our guys. In particular, anyone on our roster that's from Wisconsin, I think they care about that. They want to be in that game. A lot of their family and friends can be there watching. With the Kansas game, I just think that it's a natural matriculation in how the scheduling works out. Does a date match up? Do they, is it a situation where, they're probably looking for something competitive? It's going to be during a time in December where we have to go in there, and maybe they just had to fill a schedule after or before, finals for them. But at the same time, I know those guys at Kansas, and we've talked, for multiple months prior to getting that game on the schedule, and it just worked out the way it is now. And it could have been any other team. I wasn't concerned about whether Kansas was ranked in the top 5 or top 10. It wasn't, but I mean they're nationally ranked and nationally, renowned, throughout college basketball. So that wasn't something I was thinking about, but it was something that really for our program, I'd love to see how tough our guys are. I love to see if our guys can go into an environment as tough as Fog Allen Fieldhouse is, and see if our guys are up to the task. And because if you can see that in whatever result that comes out of that, I think that, when you get into your league play, you can depend and go back to some of those things that were either good moments or some bad moments in games like that, and hopefully translate to the games in January, February in your league. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't trade Tijon. I wouldn't trade Darius. I wouldn't trade any of our players right now for anybody, because I know how hard they compete. I know how hard Tijon has worked to get back to playing again and being ready to go. And, a lot of it is some of the coaches haven't seen Tijon. Maybe they go to clips and haven't seen full games of him. So I can't fault them for not picking him first team or all league or whatever. That's their discretion. I know he's first team all league for us, and I know his value to what we're trying to do in our program here. So hopefully for him, and that's all that matters, what our coaching staff and his teammates think of him. And I do think that when it comes down to winning, I think he does all the things that equate to winning and to helping us be successful. So hopefully that all of that takes shape and takes form when we're playing, and at the end of the results, at the end of the games, we're winning. That's all that matters to me. And all the other stuff will take, will come with us winning. If we win, then not only Tijon, but also some other guys may get some end of season accolades, because we're winning. If we're not doing as well, we're not going to get it, and it's not going to happen. So we have a lot of improvements to make from last year to this year. Like I said, we're a different team, and with a different makeup of guys, and mentally tougher, I think, and stronger, and understand the league a lot better. So I think that if we're worried about where somebody's picking our guys, then I think we're doing ourselves a disservice. I think Tijon will say, hey, I care about that, but at the same time, he cares about what's happening in our locker room and out there on the floor, and did we win or not. I think that's his personality.
The style we play, we get up and down a lot, pressure the ball defensively, and just be able to make plays in open court. We have a lot of freedom with Coach. He gives us sets us up and puts us in the right position to be successful. And I believe that's what a great coach would do, and that's what all my coaches have done. So if you haven't seen me, I mean, you'll be able to see me in about a couple weeks, and you might want to be there.
Well, the thing that I've talked with DeAndre is just being consistent every single day. We will use him the same way, and then there's some other things that we've toyed with, as far as how we want to use him offensively. We worked in the spring and in the summer and even this fall on developing his post-up game and trying to get him to develop that part of it. We also want him to increase his field goal percentage, from where he was and being more efficient there and shooting a higher percentage and shooting a higher percentage three. I think with guys around him that can make plays for him, he won't be asked to do as much off the dribble, but still, have an opportunity to have some easier shots because he was, if you look at it, he was probably either 1 or 2 on the scouting report last year, because of, where he was positioned in the scoring for us in his points per game. So hopefully the game will be a lot easier with guys that are making plays for him. But also, we need him to get to the free throw line more. He was one of the I think he shot 49 free throws for the year, not even for the year, but for the Horizon League season. So we need that to increase because he's a pretty good free throw shooter as well. DeAndre is extremely, extremely important to us in what we're trying to do this season, and I'm going to be putting pressure on him to do more. I think we have a bunch of guys that if you talk about where they were from the end of last year to this year, I think all of our guys have made marked improvements in their games. What I think comes with toughness is getting into the weight room and getting stronger. So now you can take contact, you can do some different things. So I think our guys have gotten better, from that standpoint. We have some new guys that have, come into the fold, and they've really been competitive from day one. I hate to mention every single guy's name, but, we have some new guys that I think that can really contribute and help us win games. They know that I care about toughness. They know I care about defense and how we're putting things together on that side. And those things, like Tijan was saying, I'll give you some rope on the offensive end. But everyone, I want them to show that toughness. I want them to play the defense that we need to do in order to achieve, in order to do well in our league. I pointed out to our guys maybe a couple weeks ago, all the teams that were either first or second or won their conference, the main criteria or the common denominator amongst all of those teams was defense, and how well their field goal percentage defense, their 3-point field goal percentage defense, all of those things equated to wins and to championships or winning their conference and ultimately and hopefully making the NCAA tournament. So we preach defense. That's toughness. The intangible things of toughness are cutting hard on the offensive end, on making the extra pass, taking charges. All of those things equate to toughness, and I think we have a group of guys that are committed to doing those things. Yeah, we're good health-wise. The one thing is Tijan had surgery on his finger. It's minor, and it's not like mine. I mean, it's similar to mine, so I was joking with him about it. Let's play through it. But it's minor. He'll be back, hopefully within a week. And, he had about a 10-minute surgery on your finger. So, but that's the only health issue at this point. Ty Ellingson, he's going to redshirt this year, but he had a minor surgery on his knee. Just your normal bumps and bruises from the preseason. So our guys are itching to go, and, we have some games on tilt coming up and looking forward to that.